What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Making Podcasts Great Again. I am your tech stuff guy, Jay Nog, and we are here, of course, with the President of the United States of Mar-A-Lago of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, how are you today?
We got a lot of rallies. We've been doing so many rallies. America is like a fat person, and there's a real hunger for Trump steaks. But in this case, the steaks are Trump speeches. And we're going all these places that you can't believe how desperate these people are for they want to get their country back. They don't like what's happening. They see that we are becoming a real disaster. It's like a disaster movie. You ever heard of these disaster movies?
I've heard of them, yes.
It's like one of those movies where there's a catastrophe, and this one's called Sleepy Joe and the Democrats.
How happy Columbus Day. Happy Columbus Day today.
Well, thank you. I see the tech stuff agency got my note, which is it's not ignorant people's day, which they always want to say we have to represent the ignorant people because they were the real heroes on Columbus, Ohio.
Well, I'm sure Columbus did some bad things, but throughout history, lots of people did bad things. And
I tell you what, let's say Neil Armstrong, remember him?
who are you talking
trumpet.
about?
Neil Armstrong, he played the
Yes,
trumpet, and he also went on the moon.
Yes.
He went on the moon. He's the first human. That means person. He's the first person to go on the moon. Now, what if we found out, what Neil Armstrong used to say the N-word in his private study while watching TV or reading books? They'd try to cancel him. And I would say he still did he was the first person to do what I might call the greatest thing humans have ever done, other than build strong real estate, which is walk on the moon. And the left would probably say, well, we're not, the moon doesn't exist. You know what? We're cancel culture on the moon. There's no more moon. And because he said bad things. Columbus, when everybody thought the world was flat, okay, before they had implants, nobody wanted to go. Everybody's like, I don't want to fall off the earth. And Columbus said, give me the goddamn ship, and I'll make you a bet. If the earth isn't flat, I will rape the first person I see. And so it was just
I didn't know about this.
And when he learned the earth wasn't flat, he basically said, a deal's a deal. I'll do it anyway.
He doesn't welch on his bets. He doesn't welch on his bets.
Right. It's called honor. It's called integrity. It's called Columbus. Papa John's.
Well, Mr. President, I'm glad you're enjoying your Columbus Day.
Oh, and by the way, Chris Columbus was a film director.
Was he?
He did, and he directed a film called Home Alone. And he also directed what many people call the greatest film ever made, Home Alone 2. So how about we celebrate that on Columbus Day? We get happy, we get a little emotional, and we celebrate Home Alone 2 Columbus Day. Starring McAllister Crocken, McAllister Crumpet, and Donald J. Trump. PhD.
Well, Mr. President, all this going on with these secret documents, and of course, you have so much intel and information. You recently came out with news that H.W. Bush held secret documents in a bowling alley.
A Chinese restaurant / bowling alley. He was holding secrets, and they want to come after me just because it's called rainy day. Do you know what that means when somebody says they're holding something for a rainy day, saving it for a rainy day?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's say the rainy day comes down and a certain country, maybe the United States, wants to indict me. Okay, which is, I had to explain to Mike Pence when he worked for me that, there's a difference between the kind of indicting he wants and the kind of indictments that the federal government does. And if they want to indict me, then maybe I have some backup documents for a rainy day that I then say to some other countries like China or Russia, other places, and I just say, I'm being treated very unfairly. I love this country, but I'm being treated very unfairly. Can you guarantee me safe passage? In exchange, I have some rainy day nuclear secrets that I will share with you for strong safe passage. So it's called, if you have a savings account or a retirement fund, nobody says we have to cancel your retirement fund. We're seizing it and we're prosecuting you. So the secret documents are really, and I know most of the stuff in my head. Most of it's in my head. A lot of intellect, a lot of smarts, a lot of brain power. But it's like my retirement. It's like, oh, in case they want to throw me in jail, I don't want to retire in jail. I want to retire on a nice beach in a non-extradition country. And these nuclear secrets are like my 401k, but I don't have them. So it's not even useful to talk about.
Now, this really pissed off Jeb Bush when you came out
Low energy Jeb,
you throwing
exclamation
shade
mark.
on what was that? Low energy Jeb.
Exclamation Jeb. Jeb. Remember his posters? It was Jeb with an exclamation point. Should have been a question mark or dot dot dot.
Well, he's very pissed off. You're throwing shade at HW, saying that you're tarnishing him from the dead,
Well,
and
don't tell Jeb that
speaking
I
ill
went
of
to
him.
HW's grave and I stood over it and pissed on it. That was shady as well. Because the sun was right at my back and you could see my shade right over his tombstone. And I said, I hope you're at the Chinese restaurant bowling alley in hell. Very failed president, one term. He lost fair and square, unlike me, who won a second term and had it stolen.
I didn't know you pissed on his grave.
Well, and Jeb has a big head. You ever see his head? He's like a bobblehead. He's like a Pez dispenser, but instead he just spits out boring, low energy candy.
Now, you and Jeb, were you on good terms before this whole comment came out about HW?
Okay, well, somebody obviously missed the 2016 election when I pretty much.
But
Did you
you've
see 8
been
Mile? Have you seen 8 Mile?
no, I know you served him, but what I'm saying is
Excuse
that
me.
through
Excuse
yes,
me. Excuse me. Have you seen
yes,
8 Mile?
yes. Was he Papa Doc and you were B Rabbit?
Well, it was actually Eminem Peanut who was in the movie.
The characters in the movie, it was B Rabbit versus Papa Doc at the end.
Well, you know what? I don't like rap, so I didn't get that far in the movie. But I can just tell you that I really destroyed Jebediah or whatever the hell is. What even the hell is his name?
Um,
Jeb. What a stupid name.
let's see, Jeb Bush, John Ellis Bush. So he uses the first letter of each
So
of
his
those
name
names
is
for
basically
Jeb,
Jeb. So his name is
like a computer.
John Ellis Bush. Because he calls himself Jeb Bush. So that's like he's saying John Ellis Bush. What a stupid two Bush. A Jeb in the ass is worth two in the bush.
John Ellis Bush.
Well, how stupid is that? That's like going to an ATM machine.
But isn't that? I've heard that with first name, middle name as a name, right? If your name was like Donald James, you're DJ, right? But I've never heard using the 3-letter.
All right, who it's what I say? It's DJT Trump. Well, that would be stupid. That would be stupid. And it's a lot better than but I don't even know why he doesn't call himself John Bush. What was his middle name? Was it Ellis?
Ellis.
I think he should have just gone by John Ellis. That sounds a lot better. But he's low energy and low intellect, so he wouldn't know that. He wouldn't know that. That's okay. That's okay. We always have time to beat up on John Ellis Bush.
Ah, it's really silly.
And that's why
Do
he
you know
couldn't be
anyone?
president.
Do you know anyone who goes by a first, middle, last initial to make their name? He's the only person.
Actually, you know what? There's a very funny show called Arrested Development where there's a character called Gob. They call him Job, but it's Gob, and it's like George. I forget what the middle name is, but Bluth. So so basically, it's Jeb Bush and a stupid character from Arrested Development that do it. Yeah, George. Oh yeah, his name's George Oscar Bluth. So you have George Oscar Bluth and John Ellis Bush.
John Ellis Bush is crazy. Mr. President, you've been rallying like crazy, rally to rally to rally to rally, and I'm
Heck,
confused.
we gotta
Yes,
say we have to save America. We have to
yes,
save. It's called Save America. Remember, we were gonna make America great again, and we did. And then we were gonna CAG. Remember CAG? Keep America great. But
yes.
now we have to save America. We have to save it because it's in trouble. It's in
So
trouble from a lot of people who
it's
are on
just
the
Save
left.
America. That's all it goes. Save America. There's no Save America Great Again, or just Save America. Is that what it's called?
It's called SA.
Now, you recently had a rally in Minden, Nevada, and I've usually heard of every place that you go to, bigger cities. Why Minden, Nevada?
Because earlier that day we had a ribbon cutting ceremony at a brothel.
And that was the closest city to the brothel.
Well, that's where the brothel is. So I said, why don't we do a
Mm.
rally here? So a cutting at a brothel is very fun. It's a fun experience, because it's not like a traditional ribbon cutting.
How is it different?
Well, they get the hottest woman to stand out front, and then you take a big scissors and you cut her panties off. And then you say open for business, and then you watch a gangbang happen right there, right on the front steps. And that's how Christian, strong Christian, like a Christian, a brothel. And where the hell was it again?
It was in Minden.
Minden. Yes, Minden. The name of it is the Minden Minden of Sin is the name of the brothel that I did the strong opening for.
Do you speak before the cutting of the panties or after the cutting of the panties and gangbang?
No, you did. Have you ever been to like a ribbon cutting? No, you give a
Not
strong
not to this
speech.
kind of not to this
You
kind.
you give a strong speech, and then you take like the ceremonial scissors, and you cut the panties, and then you just mingle while people pile the ceremonial. It's called the ribbon cut. Can I say a ribbon cutting with an extra letter
And
in the word cutting. It's a Christian podcast, so I didn't want to go too strong.
of course, of course. And what did you think about the city of Minden?
It's other than the brothel, it's a pretty sad, disgusting hellhole.
Do you plan on going to any other small cities, or they have to have some sort of strip club opening or brothel opening, or are you doing small cities as well?
I do. The thing is, there's no small city when I do a rally because I could do it in ass fuck Wyoming, and you're gonna have 20,000 people drive, fly, do whatever they can to get to that rally. So it really doesn't matter where I perform, which is a beautiful thing. It's called love. You see that love from all our supporters, and it's a beautiful thing. But no, I like to do rallies where there's you sort of two birds with one Roger Stone. You know, oh, I have a business meeting. Let's do a rally. You ever do that? Do you do comedy?
Yes.
Or you ever thing like, oh, I'm taking a trip to Tech Stuff Land in Seattle.
Right. And then book
Oh,
a gig around it. I got it.
right? Is there a porta potty that wants comedy? Or I'll double up the gig. I'll do my tech stuff gig, and then I'll stand in the porta potty and do jokes, and then I'll go home. And it's called a 2-for-1.
I understood. Thank you. A few more news stories I wanted to get into, Mr. President. You made a post on True Social, a truth. Is that what it is? You put a truth up
I put a truth, a very strong truth, probably the most
about
truthful truth I've ever posted.
Mitch McConnell, and in this truth, you wrote that he has a death wish, and some people are saying you went too far in this truth. Now, I don't know if they'd be treating it differently if it was a tweet, but I'd like your thoughts on this truth that you posted on True Social about Mitch McConnell.
It's it's called a figure with a hard R, a figure of speech. And you know, a death wish doesn't mean literally a death wish. You know, the movie with Charles Bronson. Remember that Death Wish? He didn't have a death. It was called Death Wish, but it didn't mean he had a death wish. It meant the scum that assaulted his family had a death wish. No, I think that Mitch McConnell is very old. He's very anti-America, anti-MAGA, and I think he just wants to go bye-bye, and I think he wants to take the country with him. If I was being more accurate, I would say he has a murder-suicide wish, but that's not the phrase. So I was simply letting my supporters know that Mitch McConnell doesn't love our country and is willing to destroy it and everything that is sacred in our country, and that only somebody who is willing to destroy so many great things, you know, he either has a death wish or he's an incredibly cruel, nasty person who should be killed. So it doesn't necessarily, you know, it's a figure of speech, is what I'm saying. So no, we respect the process, and we encourage, as you know, or whoever the tech stuff, we encourage peaceful protest. I'm truthing right now. Everybody should simply peaceful protest Mitch McConnell until he is no longer conscious. And we press instead of a send button, we have a grope. You press grope. So I'm now groping this truth so that all my, and we don't call them followers, we call them gangbangers. So all my Truth Social gangbangers can see the truth that I just groped.
So when you talk to someone to see how popular they are, you go, how many gangbangers do you have?
And of course, we don't mean that in a, you know, disgusting gangbangers. Like, we mean it in the strong Christian Roger Stone party sense, not in the sort of Crips and Bloods nasty type.
I got you. Are you gangbanging anyone on True Social, or people just gangbang you?
Now they join my gangbang.
I'm so excited to get approved for True Social to learn all about this fascinating social media platform. Mr. President, your lawyers are confused a little bit when it comes to the Mar-A-Lago probe, or the raping of Mar-A-Lago, we've called it in the past. Your lawyer, Christina Bobb, is that her name?
Well, when she, you know, when she's off the book, I ask her to bob for apples, if you know what I mean.
It is Halloween. Now, she came out and said that everything was returned. All classified documents are returned. And then allegedly from Mar-a-Lago, they've taken some classified documents, and they asked her about this. And she said that she just told them the information that was provided to her. Now, that information had to be provided by you or someone from Mar-a-Lago. So what are your thoughts on this?
I would prefer not to speak without my counsel, Sidney Powell.
What court is Sidney Powell in today that Sidney Powell can't join us?
Oh, she told me that she was in the court of public opinion arguing a case very strongly. Such a talent. I think I want Christina Bobb. You know, Christina Bobb is sort of there as like a very talented lawyer, but she's more there for sort of so that we can have kind of like some good, sexy, like LA law type scenarios, like a hot legal show. So Sidney Powell does the hard work of arguing the case at food courts and pickleball courts and racquetball courts and courts of public opinion and other courts,
Bridge
and
courts.
excuse me.
Bridge.
No, she definitely doesn't do anything there. That's totally false. But Christina, I don't know what she's talking about. I don't think she always knows what she's talking about, but we appreciate her, we respect her, and I question what the hell she's talking about.
Mr. President, we have two more stories to get to. Before these get to these stories, an exciting month for the Patreon people. We have the live episode coming out this month. We have Halloween talk this month, Columbus Day talk. Special guest who is going to be the bonus episode this month, patreon.com/MPGA. Sign up now. Lots of people came in last week, Mr. President. New Patreon patriots. We are growing. So come on and join. If you're not sure, sign up for the $5 level. Give all the bonus episodes, hundreds of hours of bonus episodes. Great Fred Trump traditions. Check it out. Patreon.com/MPGA. Now, Mr. President.
Oh,
Mr. President, you. I know you follow Netflix stand-up comedy. You are really into pop culture. There's a comedian from New York, Ariel Elias, and she was at Uncle Vinny's Comedy Club on stage, and she was
great comedy
doing
club, one of the best in the country.
She was doing a Q&A with the audience, and an audience member asked her if she voted for Trump. She became defensive and uncomfortable on stage, wouldn't answer the question, skirted around the question, even though she was doing a Q&A, until someone lost their temper and threw a beer can that was partially full at her, which crushed against the wall, splattering almost on her. And then she took the rest of the beer and chugged it for the audience. And that person was kicked out. And I think charges are being pressed. What are your thoughts on the situation?
She should be, excuse me, the comedian should be kicked out.
No, not the comedian. The person who threw the beer is being.
Oh, that's a disgrace. That's a real disgrace. In fact, I think I'll do a video defending the beer person when we're done with this. That is a sad state of affairs that they're doing this. How can they do this? I think it's sad. I think
it's freedom of speech, right? Freedom of speech.
Yeah, freedom of beer throwing. It's common, and what I don't like about this is the only thing that speaks in her favor is I like a woman. I don't like radical left women. You know this,
right?
But I do like a woman who's willing to pick up a cup of liquid that another man was already salivating in and drinking, and just chugs it all the way down. So I give her respect for that. That is that's usually just something I see when I visit sort of, trailer parks in Trump states. I see that sort of level of commitment. But other than that, she's obviously not talented. She's obviously very disrespectful. And why is she doing a Q&A? How about you tell jokes? How about you tell jokes? I'll do the Q&A. I'm the president. I answer questions. But no, now every comedian at Aunt Aunt Denise's comedy club is all of a sudden saying, "Oh, listen, I have something to say. I have something to say, sir."
Anthony's. Uh, would you help out this person, this supporter, with some legal aid, some legal help?
I declare right now, I will give him a full pardon from the beer throwing, and maybe we need to go down to my cousin Vinny's comedy club and have a peaceful protest there. How about that? I hear this comic is going to be back there in April. We'll do a peaceful protest and we'll stop the show. Mike Pence, don't you dare approve that show going through.
I have a question. Would you have felt differently if this beer can hit her, maybe in the head, caused her to bleed, maybe knocked her unconscious? Would you have different feelings about this if the beer can made contact with her and she was hurt?
That's a good question. I would consult Sidney Powell, my great attorney. Uh, I would say that possibly you wouldn't want anybody to get hurt. You only want peaceful protest. So you wouldn't want to see somebody get hurt. But that's the thing, MAGA people throw strongly and play sports. We don't have peanut allergies and do arts and crafts. We play sports. So if a MAGA person is throwing a can, they're gonna have good strong aim. They're not gonna have woke aim.
Well,
Joaquin
apparently this
Phoenix,
person,
great actor. Joaquin Phoenix is a very talented actor, but no, we don't have woke aim.
but the support of yours did have woke game Phoenix because he missed.
No, exactly. He didn't because it was. You think he cares enough for you think our strong MAGA people care enough for the comedy show to like murder a no-name comedian? No, he was not aiming for. He was aiming. It was a joke. It was a
It was
joke, and
to scare
possibly
her.
to scare her in a humorous way, like a Halloween scare. Boo.
Oh, almost a can at your face. I get it. That's funny. So it's like trick or treat, and there was a trick. I get it. Makes sense. All right. Well, she's totally in the wrong here for having a Q&A and really bringing up
If she had a
politics.
QAnon, if she had had a QAnon, maybe we would have all gotten along. Gotta put that in the video. How about that?
Now, Mr. President, I feel like this man is in the news every single week. A friend of yours. I don't know if he is trolling America and his, the way he looks at things is any press is good press. And as long as people are talking about him, that's all that matters. Or he's severely mentally ill. But Kanye West went after Jewish people in a tweet the other night. And I think his account has been suspended. The tweet was taken down.
And that's why we're
A lot of
welcoming him on Truth Social.
It's his induction to True Social tonight.
He has been fast tracked onto Truth Social.
Congratulations, Kanye, or Ye, as everyone's been calling you these days. What do you think about this cancel culture? Speaking ill of Jews, I know you have lots and lots of Jewish supporters. What are your thoughts on this?
I love Jewish people. I love Jewish women. You know, a lot of them, they often have very big breasts. So we've always supported,
Hmm.
you know, Jewish women and Israeli women. You ever see Gal Gadot? She's got it. The Wonder Woman, she's Israeli. She's got, I always
Yes.
say, you still got it, Gal got it. And so I've always respected Jewish women. And I've also respected how sneaky and clever and shrewd and deceptive Jewish businessmen can be. I have great respect for their devious, sneaky business practices, very shrewd negotiators, very, they just, they'll sneak up on you and they'll pull a fast one on you. And I respect that. So, no, it's called respect, great respect for the Jews. So you're never going to find a bigger friend. I'm such a, you know what, I'm just going to say there's no bigger friend to the Jewish community than me. Nobody. Tremendous respect for busty Jewish women and for deceptive, sneaky, corrupt, uh, financially obsessed Jewish business people. So I don't know how anybody could ever call me anti-Semitic. If anything, I'm Semitic. Is that the opposite of anti-Semitic?
I
I'm
guess so.
antiseptic, which means like clean when you use it to like a cleaning product. I'm the opposite.
Yes.
I'm antiseptic, not anti-Semitic. So I am a strong fan. I have many great friends that I've done deals with and by the way, we haven't even mentioned that my daughter, even though she had her fingers crossed when she did all the hocus pocus, she's Jewish. How could I, how could I, how could I be anti-Semitic if I have a beautiful, sexy daughter that's Jewish? What kind of monster would I be?
Okay.
I'd be a monster.
Scenario here. You have the most successful Jewish banker who does lots of dealings with you and your companies, and Kanye. Whose side do you take here?
Well, I make deals. Okay, so you've walked into a trap. You've walked into a Trump trap. We're gonna play some trap music on Jim Crow Records because you just walked into a Trump trap. No, I sit down with them and I say, "Ye." You know what ye is? It's the first two letters of yeshiva. And I say, "Look at how I'm already bringing you together." And I say, "Ye, I want you to be a yeshiva," which I don't know what that means. Is that school? Is that like Jewish for school?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Then look at me. And I say, "I want you to not just be ye, I want you to be a yeshiva. And I want you to teach and I want you to learn. And I want you to realize that what you said was hurtful, even though I think he was joking. I think he was just making strong humor, which Jewish people used to love comedy. Remember that? Remember there used to be a couple of Jewish comedians. I don't
Remember
know
it.
where they
Yep.
went, but they used to be everywhere. You know, now it's all women in comedy and TikTok and whatever happened to the good Jewish comedians. It's like they disappeared. And I would say to ye be a yeshiva. You know, maybe that could be your next album. Ye Yeshiva. And he could rap some bars about school, but I would bring them together. I would bring them together and say, make a deal. Let's realize that Kanye needs some medicine. And I'd say, well, Kanye, where are you gonna go for medicine? To a doctor? Well, 50-50, it's gonna be a Jewish person. So you better start acting right because they can help you. And I think it would open up his mind. And then I would say to the Jewish person that didn't negotiate, the banker you said,
Yes.
I would say, I would put a contract in front of them that they agree to form a peace, and Kanye Yeshiva would sign it. And then I would drop a quarter, and the Jewish banker would go running for it, and I would sign in his place, and then file the contract as done. Great respect, great respect.
Well, Mr. President, thank you for joining us another week for this awesome podcast, making podcasts great again. Thank you to all the listeners out there and all the support for our Patreon patriots as well. And check out, if you haven't already, the Patreon, patreon.com/MPGA. Sign up whatever level fits you, and I guarantee you will upgrade to a level 10 Patreon Patriot. You will be a perfect 10. And also, if you haven't already, check out my special on all streaming services: Apple, iTunes, Amazon, Vimeo, video on demand, your cable provider, something from nothing. Check that out if you haven't already. And Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Oh, well, thank you. Tech stuff, another, I think you might even be back next week. It might be the first time we have a tech stuff back. But anyway, hey guys, it's JL. Thanks for listening, of course. A lot of shows coming up. If you are still listening, York, Pennsylvania, this Friday, a political fundraiser in Nyack, New York, on Saturday of this week. The 28th and the 29th, I am in Princeton, New Jersey, headlining a Catch a Rising Star. On the 26th, if you care, I'm at a show in the Fordham section of the Bronx for any New York, adventurous New York fans. In November, the 11th and 12th, Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. Ticket link is up now. And then on the 23rd of November, I'm in Syracuse. And I guess that's it. Check out my website for, order a cameo, check out my Patreon, check out my other podcast. Great episode. This just went up this week of Righteous PK. So that's it. Thanks for supporting the show. Be sure to give it 5 stars on Apple if you haven't, for God's sakes. And I think that's it. God help us all.